So, Esper Amulet, if you haven't seen this deck before, this is one of the many wacky, fun, and pretty competitive decks that's on my website. So, Primal Amulet is the namesake of the deck. The goal is to flip Primal Amulet over and then take infinite turns with Nexus of Fate by copying it with Primal Wellspring's backside. And this deck is incredibly consistent because all of your deck is cantrips, basically. You have Discovery, Opt, Anticipate, Radical Idea, Revitalize, Rejuvenation. And then for decks that are trying to be aggressive, we've got a couple Settles and a couple Cleansing Novas. And then eventually, once you take infinite turns, you play your Chromium and kill them, like somewhere way down the line. And we've got 2 copies of Memorial to Folly in case we bin this with Discovery or it gets discarded out of our hand. The mana in this deck is pretty reasonable because you draw a lot of cards and see a lot of cards every game, which smooths your mana out a good deal. And past that, it's only black and it's 7-drop, so like when you eventually cast Chromium, you generally have black mana. How do you open the vault? You open it when you filled it up. How do you play versus control? Yeah, end step Nexus to bait counterspells, ideally. You can see the deck list on the screen. You can also type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. How's the mana, he says. It's fine, he says. It wasn't fine. We're gonna go ahead and mulligan here. This hand finds a second land, it's really good. Has Search for Azcanta in it. Perfect. Couple of these. So if we can curve out into turn 4 Amulet here, along with some life gain cards, we might be able to race here. It's a pretty good start from the opponent. At least their 1-drop didn't have 2 power. So just digging for lands here. We get 3 shots at a land. Think I gotta bin that. Alright, sweet. This gives us a lot more shots at a land. I'm gonna bin this Radical Idea, draw this Plains. Ideally, we want to draw an untapped land next turn so that we can play Primal Amulet right on 4 and then flip it over ASAP. Oh, I missed an attack there. Oh wait, do they have they have the Convoke spell? Okay, I mean, as much as it sucks to lose this, I'd rather they exile this than my Primal Amulet, right? Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. All right, if they don't have another Conclave Tribunal here, we might get to do things next turn. Come on, dodge. Come on, dodge. Okay. Pass. Yeah, buddy. All right. This is 4 spells to flip over, right? Definitely want an extra land here, right? This is 4 to flip over. So if they can't kill me this turn, I'm gonna get to start gaining large amounts of health because this will be able to double this up to 8. And actually, I get to Radical Idea, flip this, and then Revitalize, gain 6. Yep. I should have flipped this on my turn. They could have something to punish me doing this later. Transform. So these things go back to full cost, but now I can double them with Primal Wellspring. So I'm gonna go ahead and Revitalize here and gain 6. I'm gonna go up to 17. They're attacking for 6, 7, 8. So this is a full time walk. That's a Settle the Wreckage. And like, this is honestly the best Settle the Wreckage deck in the format, because your opponent has to walk this tightrope between playing around Settle the Wreckage and they have to walk this tightrope between playing around Settle the Wreckage and playing around you having a life gain spell. You think they're gonna save their Conclave Tribunal next time? I bet they will. And if they like just attack with these, I'm just gonna Ritual of Rejuvenation. Alright, that's good enough for me. Bye, friends. Have 6 land. Sorry I burned your village. Have some land. The double rejuvenation here might be a concession. I bet the double rejuvenation will get the concession. Honestly, I hope it doesn't. I'd like to draw some cards and take some turns. Oh, there's some real masochists that like to stay in the game until they see our win condition, and then they slowly, you can like kind of slowly see your opponent realize that you don't really have a win condition. You're just gonna like durdle around taking a bunch of turns. It's truly wonderful. Like, well, this casual up to 25. Nice aggro deck. Never forget, chat, that fun is zero sum, which means if you are having all the fun, your opponent is having none of it. Which, let's be honest, don't you want to have all the fun? Tempo decks beat this deck up. Decks like Mono Blue and Pirates are really good against this archetype. Hey, Sideshow, thanks very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. And like, I'm flooding out here, but like, you know, their clock's really slow. I get to like double my opt here. We've drawn like pretty poorly so far. It just like doesn't matter. We had the good stuff at the start. Oh, look, another gain 8. Dark Magi, I love this deck. Thanks for the 16-month resub. I love this deck too. Me too. Maybe I'm supposed to cast an opt there to try and find another amulet to play. The fun thing about amulets too is this Primal Wellspring is not legendary, which means you get to get multiple of them going and copy a spell multiple times. Watching your content on YouTube for much now, I figure I should probably stop by live for once. Well, thanks for the support, Sideshow. Those Twitch Prime subs are what allow me to keep doing that. Look at all the YouTube stuff. Welcome to a live one. I'm not ready to win the game yet. Some of you out there might think, but Jeff, you could definitely start winning the game here. You could win the race. You don't appreciate how much I like to durdle, okay? I was never very good at following directions as a child. Don't play with your food isn't something that resonates with me. Goodbye, friends. Boop. Did you see people putting Amulet in Modern Storm? I did not. You could double Wrath to get the token? Nah, I feel like gaining 8 is more devastating for morale The beatings will continue until morale improves. Could Dispersal and flip Azcanta. That's funny. We actually could do that, huh? Ooh, there we go. Yeah, we did it. All right, they didn't concede to us gaining over 24. Do you think they concede to us taking 2 turns? Oh, I should have done this during my upkeep. I technically should do this during the upkeep, so that way I could have a chance to redraw it. So we got 2 extra turns here. All right, start my extra turn. I'm gonna go to a clean 30 before I start my extra turn here. All right, so we're gonna cast this Discovery off of the Primal Wellspring. So that way we can dig 6 cards looking for another Nexus of Fate here. Also looking for another Amulet, kinda. Sweet, I would love another Amulet. There's not a match timer on Arena, you just have a turn timer. So as long as you don't take too long, you can take as many turns as you'd like, as much time as you want. So if your opponent doesn't want to concede when they should, there's no punishment for you. Ooh, candy. All right, and then we found another Nexus of Fate here. I'm gonna put a stop on my upkeep. So during my upkeep here, before I don't need the Azcanta, we're fine. So before this happens, I'm gonna go ahead and do this and cast Nexus of Fate to get 2 more turns. Eventually, we get to a point where our deck is just copies of Nexus of Fate and we get to take all of the turns. See? I told you they concede before you show them the win condition. You have to make them hate themselves, chat. Magic Arena thought we were being too cruel and decided to crash, so we're going to go ahead and take a hot second here. Appreciate Bloodbraid. She is beautiful. Magic Arena is going to load back up here momentarily. Whoop. If they make you show them a win condition, we technically kill them with Chromium, but sadness is the win condition, chat. Breaking their spirit is the win condition. Making them regret their life decisions, that's the win condition. It's like the true spirit of Christmas, basically. Breaking their spirit. All right, so I think I just click submit, right? Against aggro, we click submit. Yeah, these are cards for the control matchup. These are cards for the Drakes matchup. As someone who plays a ton of this deck, I agree. They didn't concede the match. Apparently, they still have a little spirit hiding in the corner, right? The season of giving yourself extra turns. Love it. I'll check out my options here real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. We're basically looking for Settle the Wreckage, cantrips that gain life, and amulets at this point. The other day, I conceded to steal the joy from my opponent. That's the correct... Whenever I see someone, they're like, I made the Teferi player click out their combo and grind me into oblivion. It's like, listen, you're not punishing the blue-white control player by letting them draw a bunch of cards. The blue-white control player is playing blue-white control because they love drawing magic cards. The only person you're punishing by making the blue-white control player do their thing is you. You're the one that's sad. They're not sad. You ever people salt off and let their timers run down? Very infrequently. Very infrequent. Why don't you just win with Teferi? So that's actually a good question. The reason why there's no Teferi in this deck is because a lot of the time, the way you're keeping yourself from dying is with cards like these, which means you can't protect a Planeswalker. These aren't actual fogs, they're just pseudo fogs. If that makes sense. Although here we might just be dead. So next turn we're taking 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I believe I'm only taking 17 next turn. Is it? So this is 8, 13, 14, 15, 16. 8, 13, 14, 15, 16. I believe I'm taking 17. Johnny, they could play around Settle the Wreckage here. Please attack for exactly 14. If they swing all out, I actually die to this token here, but because they didn't attack with these, Cleansing Nova means I won't be dead next turn. So again, this is that squeeze, right? That awesome squeeze where, like, do they play around Settle the Wreckage or do they play around us gaining 4 life? Nobody knows. Find out next week. I would love a Primal Amulet. Thank you for asking. Goodbye, friends. Now, if they unmoored Ego you, just concede the game. They wanted it more than you. So we go to 2. We play a Cleansing Nova. Graveyard that one. Oh, that's a real good one to have. Bye, friends. Man, if we draw an untapped land here, I can actually... Oh, this is going to flip. I'm guaranteed an untapped land. Right? Graveyard that one. We'll pick him back up later. The secret 3-mana Settle is so good. It's so good, chat, when Settle costs 3 mana. Goodbye. I don't need to settle here, but I'm gonna flip this next turn, so I think settling there is fine. And now we just like start gaining piles of life. Don't call my deck toxic. You're gonna hurt its feelings. Yep. Do you think they concede sooner this game than last game? I feel like there's a chance they concede sooner this game than last time. So like now I can play the next one, which makes this cost 1. This standard format really just has something for everyone. This deck's like a work of art. Sure, you have a Dawn of Hope. This is the first match with this deck. We're just getting started with this one. If you like this one, don't go anywhere. There's gonna be plenty more of it. Yeah, I think I'm actually in for that, right? All right, gate 8, draw 2 cards. You cannot. When you copy a spell, you have to choose the same. You have to use the same mode twice. That's a 1-mana revitalization. All right, go. Now, I think they still have a chance. I love it when they think they have a chance, chat. This chat, you ever see in the cartoons where, like, the larger person is holding the other person's forehead and they're just, like, swinging their arms wildly trying to hit the big bully? That's basically what this deck does to aggro decks. You're the person they're swinging their arms at. All right, so I'm gonna flip this amulet over here. Says you can't cast 5 Nexus. I actually can't. I only have 3 amulets in the deck, Mr. Hat. So this is all the amulets. As a 5'7" tall aggro player, I don't know what that's like. All right, y'all ready for this? Oh yeah. Yeah, you think we should take a couple turns, chat? Should we take a couple turns? Is this a concession Nexus? It feels like it should be a concession Nexus, but I'm not sure. The opponent can make the decisions. Triggers. Ain't nobody need no win conditions. Come on now. You need, what's the win condition? Sadness is the win condition. Winning matches without ever dealing damage to your opponent is the best feeling in Magic. You're just like, If you're a new viewer and you've never seen this deck before and you think it's awesome, it is. This is one of the many awesome decks you can find on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Click standard decks in the navigation. They're not all as cruel as this one, I promise, but there's a lot of sweet things up there that are a little bit off the beaten path that are still pretty competitive. Yeah, I have Memorial to Folly, Hex. There's 2 copies of Memorial to Folly in our deck for exactly that reason. Sure. This hand's a little slow, but I think it's fine. I don't remember what the last player's name was. Is this the same mono white player or a different one? So here's the problem with Banefire. Banefire can get discarded from your hand or milled over. And Chromium, we can pick back up with Memorial. So that's the important difference on why I play Chromium as a finisher instead of Banefire. No, this is a different player because they have a red splash. We're gonna be a little too slow in the draw here, believe it or not. Look at that, chat. We're big enough to get ASCII spam. We're really moving up in the Twitch world. Get ASCII spammed. It was close enough to be 5. Can you put these towards your favorite standard deck? Definitely, Mr. Heat. Thank you for the absurd support today. I appreciate that. Can you enter tournaments with packs at MTG? I have no idea. I just play on the ladder, and the ladder's free to play. Yeah, we're just done at this point, right? All right. I kept a hand that wasn't good against an aggro deck, and they were an aggro deck on the play. Yeah, one Memorial's probably fine. I like to be a little bit conservative. Again, just click submit against aggro. We definitely ran pretty good in the first match against Mono White. Mono White can run you over sometimes. You're still on? I thought for some reason you'd be done. So normally I'm done by 3:30 during the week, but because my kids are home sick today, I don't have to pull Jake off the bus, so Christy's upstairs with them. For my regular viewers, I am not coming back tonight to do my second evening stream today. I'm just doing a longer daytime stream, and then I'm going to be done for the day. I'm going to spend the evening packing and then hanging out with the kids. Yeah, details on how to submit decks to be played on stream can be found here on my website. Thank you, Jeff, for opening my eyes to this glorious pile of salt cream. If you are looking to farm sodium, this is the best sodium farming deck in Standard, and it's not close. If you dream of sodium farming, this is certainly the deck for you. If you haven't watched that YouTube video from with the salt command, you definitely should watch that. Get you in the right mindset for this deck. Looking for lands. Looking for land. Looking for white land specifically. Uh-oh. 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 What are the extra Chromium and Nexus in the side before? Control matchup. So we haven't played a control matchup yet, but this deck boards a lot of cards against control decks. Because you need to be able to play through their counter magic. If your game 1 plan is soft to counter spells, if you can't stick your amulet. Come on. Alright, let's play Amulet. Playing Amulet makes sense here. We're not dead on board. Am I dead to heroic reinforcements? I'm dead to heroic reinforcements, but aren't we always? And then next turn, I get a search trigger, a draw step, and an anticipate, so I get 5 looks at a second white. I feel like all blue players are secretly salt farmers, right? I agree. If we find the white source here, we're actually going to be in a really good spot. They've been blessed by the city, chat. Can I keep this? Yeah, I can keep this, right? Because my Settle the Wreckage only costs 3. So I can top that because it gives me extra looks. Because these each cost 1 with the amulet. Hey, Isabus, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Love the content. Love taking all the fun with this deck. Keep it up. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And then this is the best part. This'll be the super secret hidden settle. I could get punished by an exile effect here, but I think I'm supposed to go for the hidden settle at this point. Maybe the Nexus of Fate is right to take there since I'm so close to flipping this amulet over. Yeah, maybe it was right to take the Nexus over the Revitalize there. I went over this before, but I see people still want trading for it, and I'm completely against it. What is enticing for players? They're just afraid of change. People just hate change is what it comes down to. Bye, friends. Yeah, I definitely messed up last turn. I 110% should have taken the Nexus of Fate. All right, heroic reinforcements is a real thing I have to worry about next turn, but I also have Settle the Wreckage again next turn, so we're in a pretty good spot here. And again, I also have Revitalize in my hand, and especially once I flip this, we got them on the gain 6 life squeeze and the settle squeeze. So you have to hit them from both sides, basically. I'm gonna keep the land. I'm gonna transform this. Do I want to do this? I think I want to just do this, right? Do I? Yeah, I do. Just gonna wipe this stuff out. Primal Amulet also makes mana of any color, so I technically still have Settle up here. We're looking to draw Nexus of Fate now, so we can start going off. Sure, have an Experimental Frenzy. What? What? Was that line of play better or worse than casting one with nothing? What do we think? Six red. Look at the top card of your deck, right? So hoping to dig to a land here. Perfect. I do want to leave Settle the Wreckage up this turn, so I don't want to get blown out by a heroic reinforcement. Opponent hurt itself in confusion. Oh, they just saw another frenzy? Why didn't you just play? I'm confused. All right. I mean, they have the frenzy. Settle up, boys. Got him. All right, so do I play this to start? I think I play this to start. Check out some of my options here. So looking for ways to gain life. That's 1 mana. I'll keep that. This flips Primal Amulet over. I don't have enough mana for this yet, right? Why do we care about the frenzy? No, I think I need a way to gain life this turn, if possible. Perfect. Perfect. So this costs 1, this costs 3. I'm gonna play the land. All right, go. So I have gain 11 in hand. Yeah, I guess if the frenzy gets them into a good heroic reinforcement, they could kill us. They have to deal 22 now though, so we got that going for us.
I am proud to fight by your side.
We're still fine, right? This is like the best possible for them and we're fine. This is gonna be, it's where everybody calm down. Oh, now it realizes I'm 2-2. What's going on, Delta? Thanks for upping your sub tier there. Our turn's gonna be better, okay? I promise ours is better. All right, so we just need a Nexus of Fate now. There's 26 cards in our deck. We can probably see enough to find a Nexus of Fate. Cleansing Nova also is fine. It was a nice frenzy. It's a good little frenzy. We're still the favorite to win here, but it was still a nice frenzy. I'm gonna keep that one right there.
See in yourself what I
So this is a gain 16. Yeah, I did decide to stream longer today. Alright, digging for Nexus of Fate. Perfect! This is a concession Nexus. Feels like a concession Nexus. This will lock the game up. I'm gonna declare can't lose, chat. Can't lose has been declared. Anybody who's ever watched this stream before knows how dangerous declaring can't lose is, but I feel like we're into can't lose territory here. Oh, yeah. Do this, activate Azcanta. Yeah, extra turn stack, by the way, for those that aren't familiar. Discovery's great here because it lets us dig through. It lets us dig through the parts of our deck that aren't Nexus of Fate. Ideally, we want to get to the point where our deck is all Nexus of Fate. Derek T3rd, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is Esper Amulet. That is correct. I would love that Nexus of Fate. Oh, I need the Memorial to Folly, right? So I actually, before I resolve this next discovery, I tried to do it before this one. Before I resolve this next one, I actually want to recast this Nexus of Fate here. So that way it's in my deck for this discovery. Just like add 2 more turns to the bank. Why would I play Chromium? Chat, the win condition is sadness. Chromium's a fallback in case they're a huge masochist. If you don't understand why we don't play Chromium, like, come on now. Play Chromium and kill them with it as a 1/1. That might be funny. That might actually be a fun idea. I also really don't like winning when I'm under 30, so let's fix that. Good, everybody feeling healthier? Good, I feel healthier. Opponent's praying you accidentally deck yourself? Probably. Play Chromium but never attack. I like the 1/1 Chromium idea actually. He's unblockable when he comes one right? Can't be blocked this turn. I look forward to my opponent's Reddit post where they let the community know that they really punished me by making me kill them. I think he's expecting a server crash. How many extra turns do we have? 1, 2, 3. We have a couple. We have a couple. Oh, yeah. Just so many game wins. Not a single attack step. Told you, chat. That's the win condition. The win condition is sadness. That doesn't get old. Thank you, Mr. Heat. I agree. It really doesn't. Yeah, Sand's great. Doesn't have an amulet in it. Needs some lands, but like, again, most of your hands with lands in this deck are keepable because like all of these cards draw magic cards. There's an amulet. Sign me up. Just need a couple of lands. I bet the opponent just turned on the stream and heard about the 19-turn Chromium plan. I really hope so. All right, looking for a second white source here. I'm going to keep a land in general. Ideally, I'd like a white source, but I think it'd be wrong to bottom that there. I'm feeling how you feel. Just ultimated Angrath on my opponent. That's nice, Marty. He's a sweet play. I really hope we get good Rakdos support for Angrath. He's a sweet planeswalker. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that 3 amulets is right. Congrats on the subtotal, really crushing it. Blunderbra, thanks for the 2-on-3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So I get 2 shots to find a white source here. All right. Well. All right. That's a redraw. Yeah. All right. Whew. Whew. I was a little concerned there for a moment. I was concerned. There was a moment of concern, chat. Shall I kill you? Damn it. Our baby is almost here. Greekachu, thanks for the 8 months of Twitch Prime support. Welcome back. I appreciate that. Undead Voodoo, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. If everyone's having a good Wednesday wherever you're at, thanks for getting out here today, folks.
I will lend you my strength.
It's a darn shame we don't have, It's actually kind of surprising me they didn't attack with enough to flip the Legion's Landing. That seems loose. Yeah, we're not completely out of the woods, but like, with this Cleansing Nova here, they like need to have heroic reinforcements to be in this game, most likely. I suppose I don't have any life gain in my hand just yet. What's my birthday? My birthday is January 7th, so almost a month from now.
Back on your feet.
Will be the ripe old age of 28. Perfect. This is like actually just the best draw on the deck. So with the Ajani plus, they're attacking for 7 here. This is the make or break turn, right? This is where we either next turn's either where we stabilize or we die. What's the funniest deck consider that actually wins games? I think it might be this, honestly. We win a lot of games with this, and it's pretty funny. It's funny in a little bit different way than Narset, though. All right, so we're looking for either our second Settle the Wreckage here, or another way to gain some life. And we've got Radical Ideas and Anticipates here, so we've got some things to do, some tires to spin. Because we have enough things to flip this amulet over, so if we can find a way to gain life, we're going to gain a lot of life. I think I'm actually going to decline, then if there are 4 more, I think I'm actually going to decline transforming this for now, because I might need this to make Radical Ideas cheaper. All right, is gaining 6 good enough here? I think it is. It's not actually, right? Because they're gonna attack for 9 next turn. They give +2. Huh?
You are capable of more than you assume.
Yeah, they could play around Settle here. So I need to hit another Revitalize or another Gain 4 here. Right? So I start with this. Yeah, I think that's all she wrote. Yep, we're dead. So close! Their start was really aggressive. We were almost in that. They like had us for Xaxes there. We would have gotten to untap and like get another turn with the amulet going. We could have been in a good place. Needed to radical first there to get a second look. How does that change anything? So by not radicaling first, I open myself up to be able to draw a 3 mana gain 4. If I go tap down to just 2 mana, I can only cast the gain 3 at that point, and I've cut myself off of 3 of my outs. So you're right, I get one more look, but it's one more look at less than half the number of outs. So it's actually a lower probability of happening when I tap off of 3 mana. Because remember, once the amulet flips, my 3 mana gain 4 costs 3. I no longer have an amulet in play, making it cost less. So, like, when I died there, yeah. Oh, that's true. I did burn a gain 3 earlier that game, and I potentially could have had it earlier, right? I didn't need to. Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch it, but I think you're right, Midget Cow. Twitch usernames, Midget Cow. I think you're right that I burned a gain 3 when I didn't need to, and I could have doubled it up later if I would have held on to it. It's a good thing to look at. This is my favorite combo deck in Standard. I'm gonna mulligan this. This hand doesn't have an amulet in it, like Chromium in the opener really sucks. Oh, magic. Oh, magic. No, that's not true, Peacemaker, because once you missed everything. I'm just not explaining it again. You're wrong. Go back and watch the archive for me to explain why you're wrong. The thing that gets a lot of people is the fact that, like, when the amulet flips, you no longer have the cost reduction, which changes the dynamic a lot. I heard someone say that. I've not played Magic Online today. We're doing all Arena, but I think chat being opt-in is a great addition. No, we don't need a 4th amulet, I don't think. Your deck has so many cantrips in it that you're fine without it. For a quarter, I have found your ideas interesting. Wish to continue to subscribe to your newsletter and to Go down Boomer 2K10. Thanks for the 3-month resub. Thanks for putting your Bezo bucks this way again this month. All right, so do I Ritual of Rejuve this turn? This could be a tough matchup because they have ways to destroy our Primal Amulet, especially when they have an aggressive start. If they have an aggressive start and a way to destroy our amulet, we can get in a little bit of trouble. One more month until the Phyrexian Uprising. Thanks for the 11 months, Phyrexian Fox. I appreciate that. Why did they leave this back? What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something, huh? What are they playing around there? Seal away, got it? Sure, yeah, we look like blue-white control. It's a good conservative. So I'm going to start on Opt here, I think. If we find the 4th untapped land, I'm going to not play the Radical Idea, but if we miss the land drop... All right, yeah, so I'm just going to go to my turn then. Play this. Because waiting on this... And they're going to play a Planeswalker and kill this, so I'm going to be in a sad place. But, like, waiting to play this till post this gets me to flip the Amulet faster.
I've lost so much already. Get that out of here.
All right, I think that's probably the game. Oh, yeah. All of the Planeswalkers are kind of dicks in their voice lines, right? Which I guess kind of makes sense. Like, they're very egotistical. Like, they literally harness the energy of the multiverse is the storyline, right? So you want to play Jeskai Control? Jeskai Control is a very good deck. It's just a different deck than what we're playing here.
Leave before I make you disappear.
Leave before I make you disappear. Rude. 4 mana Vraska plus Midnight Reaper is like a solid combo, right? Like, these two negate each other and you draw 2 cards. Seems pretty decent. Yeah, like, the setup of playing through Vivien is complicated, though. We have to get the board clear, we have to get to 7 lands, and then you have to, like, end step Nexus, untap with 2 turns, and, like, play and flip Amulet right away. It's, like, not impossible, but it's hard when they have this much pressure and this many cards in hand. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we get to live because they didn't play the Carnage Tyrant, so that's nice. Wow, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna take that because it gains me some. Maybe gaining some is wrong and I'm just supposed to take the most chances to find my lands. Yeah, I'm probably actually supposed to take the Opt there because it gives me the most looks at a white source. Yeah, I think if they find their Planeswalkers early, it's hard. Like, if you get to untap with Amulet once, you can usually flip it over. So if they don't have their Planeswalker right away, it's not too terrible. But if they do have their Vivien on curve like they did here, like, this game we're having a hard time in this game for, like, twofold reasons, right? Like, they had their Vivien on curve right away to kill our Amulet, and we're missing our second white source. Normally, our sweeper elements allows us to stall a lot of time in a matchup like this, but they stopped our primary plan, and we're stumbling, so we can't execute our secondary plan.
An unfortunate casualty.
You're just building a different deck at that point, Steve. And, like, it sounds like that deck's probably fine, but, like, one of the things players fail to identify a lot of the time, you see this a ton in Modern especially, but it translates to Standard too, is people often think that just because your deck includes the same key card that your deck is the same. And I can't tell you the number of times people, like, do something like what you just did there, and they're like, oh, I'm playing this exact same deck, except I changed 14 cards in it. And, like, what you have to realize is 14 out of 60 cards, you're basically playing a different deck at that point. Like, 14 spells especially, like, there's only 60 cards in a Magic deck, and only half of those are spells. So you've changed effectively 50% or more of the deck if you change 14 cards. Nah, I just time a lot of those people out, Root Samurai, because those people literally are just breaking the stream rules. They've just clicked past them. It literally says in the stream rules, don't just say, is this card good? It says give reasons and explain. And then the stream rules actually give examples of how to explain yourself too. They're very thorough. They suggest asking good questions, then tell you how to ask good questions.
probably going to die anyway.
Wonder if we can deck them. That would be funny. This Midnight Reaper draw is not optional, right? You draw a card.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
The Surveil deck was interesting. It was better than Dimir Control, but I'm not sure if I like it more than Pirates. Being more proactive is definitely tends to be better in this format. Maybe I'm not even supposed to settle here. Like, this attack's not lethal. There's a chance I'm just supposed to go to 1 there. Because, like, they're gonna have this Vraska emblem soon anyways, right? So, like, going to 1 is probably fine. I can just, like, Chemister's Insight there. That might have been better. So I'm probably gonna Cleansing Nova when I untap anyways. I think I just let this happen, right? Like, this board isn't lethal. Oh, it's gonna be lethal with her, right? Yeah, they're all gonna be lethal here. They're all lethal down here, Georgie. They're all lethal. Bye, friends. I mean, it sounds like you changed the mana a significant amount too, which is more than 4 cards. Like, there's only like 5 black sources in this deck, so like if you're playing Vraska's Contempt, I'd argue it's a functionally different deck.
Your end is nearer than you think.
There are 21 cards in their deck. I'm through most of my sweepers though, right? I'm through 2 of my sweepers. I'm through 2 of my 4 sweepers. Yeah, I think we fumbled too much on white mana early to be able to take this. Like I said, the Vivian into the Stumble on white mana was kind of a 1-2 punch for us. But thankfully, this is best of 3, so we have a chance to recover from our stumbling, which is nice.
Stop nature.
You're thinking of the other Vraska. This is the Vraska that makes all their creatures have death touch, basically. I think rank 1.0 being all best of 1 is hot garbage. It's lazy. They're just like shipping an incomplete product, basically. It's our sideboard plan versus Planeswalkers. You bring in an extra Nexus of Fate, and you end step Nexus of Fate when you have 7 mana, and then you untap, play your amulet, flip your amulet, and combo off. Yeah, it sounds like your mana just doesn't cast your spells consistently, Steve. Like, how many white sources do I have? I have 9. Yeah, I might be light on white sources even. So they are rolling out the ability to play ranked games on Magic Arena here soon. And the first iteration of their ranked is going to be only best of 1 and not best of 3. Which a lot of people who have played a lot of Magic for a long time think is silly, myself included. Do I want Binding for what's her name? Spyglass and Binding might be okay. Actually, I don't like Spyglass in this matchup because they have Little Vraska. And like, Little Vraska can't kill my Amulet, but could kill my Spyglass. So like, Binding for Vivian might be okay. Just do this, bring in a couple of Bindings for Vivian. That's probably fine. And like, when they told us when they in the announcement video where they talked about making best of one their first iteration for ranked, they talked about how ranked will let you show how good you are at Magic and all this other nonsense that like a high variance format like best of one just won't do. It's just like some hot nonsense. Oh, post board they get duress, which is annoying. Although this hand doesn't have an amulet in it, so it's like whatever. Like, I am almost certain that best of one is more popular on here than best of three, because like a lot of people play this to play like fast Magic basically, and I think that's fine. You should support best of one, but like having best of one instead of best of three instead of an addition to is hot nonsense. So the thing about your ELO nonsense, Clacker, is that Magic isn't a good game to decide matches purely based on ELO. Magic has far more variance than a game like Hearthstone or a game like Artifact that has a linear resource progression system. You lose so many games of Magic literally never playing the game than in any of these other games where those resource systems don't have variance. And like, that's fine. That's a feature, it's not a bug. The resource system in Magic is great and allows for a lot of really great deck building decisions to go into things. But to replace and remove one of the best variance mitigating factors Magic has, which is best of threes as opposed to best of one, is silly. They could just have a trophy here and I'll be sad, but if they have trophy, I'm always going to be sad, so I'd like to make them have it. Well, if they don't have Vivian exactly on curve again here, we're doing well. Killing the elf means they can't Frasco or Immortal Sun next turn, and then I get to Revitalize into Nexus of Fate, because Nexus currently costs 6. Best of one is the test backend system that will go to best of three soon. Okay, anybody who thinks anything's gonna happen soon in Magic Arena hasn't been paying attention to the timelines Magic Arena has. I'd be okay with it being something that's going to happen soon, but soon isn't a real thing in Magic Arena. Soon is forever from now. You know what's gonna happen soon? They're gonna fix the 5th card issue soon. You know, like what else have we been promised that's soon? Plenty of things. Yeah, exactly, Erler. ELO is designed for a game that's almost variance-free, and introducing ELO into a game like Magic just doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, saying that that's gonna mitigate, the ELO mitigates best of one suckage is, like, nonsense. They've already announced how they're fixing the 5th card problem. How they're fixing the 5th card problem is great. Just making it so you can't open extra copies of cards you already have is fantastic. I think that's a great solution. The problem is that they're not implementing it for like, 4 more months. All right, we're doing it. In the world of this game, we're currently doing it. So let's take 2 turns here. Yeah, it's weird that they're playing Immortal Sun in their Planeswalker deck. But, here we are. So I have 2 turns. Let's play Amulet out here. Let's cast Radical Idea. Am I? Yeah, I'm actually going to cast Radical Idea and bin the Ixalan's Binding here, because I don't have to worry about Planeswalkers anymore, right? So I draw 2 here. Oh, this only cost me 1. I'm dumb. I have an Amulet in play. I have 1 floating. I think the goal is that the announcement tomorrow is good, that the ranked thing won't matter, hopefully. I have one more turn floating here still, so we're trying to get back to draw another copy of Nexus of Fate here. Perfect. So I go back to doing this. So I've got 2 turns on the stack. I'll activate this. We get a bunch of looks here. I'll take another amulet. All right, so I have one more turn in the bank here, so I'm going to cast this. I'm going to use this amulet here to double opt. So I have double opt plus an Azcanta activation to find another Nexus of Fate. We haven't actually had one of these games yet where we're like kind of spinning our tires a little bit and don't guaranteed have it. We've had guaranteed had it pretty early, a lot of these games. Dig. There's my Nexus of Fate. I'm gonna go ahead and Discovery here, so I flip this other Primal Amulet over so I can take 3 turns next turn. Bye, friend. And there's the win condition, chat. Sadness. Sadness is an excellent win condition. What's your reason for not running any Watery Graves? Your only black card is Chromium, and you only actually cast Chromium if your opponent gives up or doesn't want to give up. And like by the time you're ready to cast Chromium, your deck should be only copies of Nexus of Fate and Chromium, so you should have one of your black sources. So if you took this deck to F&M for some sick reason, do you think you'd be asked to leave? Where would you rate the Pirates? I think the Pirates deck is very competitive. I'm playing the Pirates deck this weekend at the SCG Invitational. This is fine. It needs white mana, but it's got like Search for Azcanta plus cantrips. It's got the Sweeper in the opener. You also don't want to mulligan a ton post board against duress decks, so that's nice. Hey, look, 1 mana cantrip. Dispersal bounces the most expensive card that an opponent has in play to their hand and then makes them discard a card. That's not a white mana. How would you change the deck for best of 1? I wouldn't. I think this deck's actually really good for best of 1. A lot of the better ways to fight this deck involve sideboards. Nice, Delta. I will keep that. Thank you. All right, so at this point, we're looking for amulets and lands. This deck seems to fall short on white mana. Is that just variance or the number of white sources being looked at? There aren't a ton of white sources in the deck, but like at the same time, this deck draws a lot of cards. Like your whole deck is basically cantrips. Oh, they missed a land drop. That's good for us. Yes, yeah, exactly, Clacker. In best of 1, the opponent doesn't have removal that's live. Just bottoming anything that's not an amulet or a white source. Hey, look at that, an amulet. Is Revitalize better than Ritual of Rejuvenation? We play both. Do I ever miss F&M? Eh, not really. Nuka-Cola Company. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month with that. I assume Search for Azcanta is dying here. That's fine. The goal here is to hopefully flip Primal Amulet this turn, so that way they can't destroy it. You have to involve a little bit of luck, though. We need to find some more cantrips. All right, step 1. Need to find one more cantrip here. Perfect. So now, and this is the fun part. Oh, I guess they could have, no, if they have trophy, they're gonna kill it regardless. I was gonna say they could trophy and punish me, but now I just leave it unflipped with Vivian. So if they Vivian, I probably shouldn't have done this even, because they Vivian and down tick, you can flip it in response. Why not run 2 copies of Evolving? Because tap lands suck. You're gonna lose a lot of games to your lands just coming into play tapped and just like not being able to play spells on curve. And we would definitely play copies of the blue-white tapped land before we played Evolving Wilds. So this card transforms, but it's still the same card. When you, so I really want to, speaking of tapped lands, I actually really want to draw an untapped land here so that way I can double cast Nexus next turn. If we hit an untapped land in our next 2 draws, we'll be in a very good spot because we'll start comboing. We're getting trophied. There's no way we could work around that. So even if I'd flipped it before they had trophy, they'd just trophy the land. That doesn't really change anything. So do I want to end step Nexus, or do I want to settle the wreckage plus Radical Idea? Correct, Nerdster. Correct, yeah, trophy kills lands. End step Nexus. So if I like end step Nexus, it just doesn't do anything. I don't really want to play the dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna play the tap land and just pass the turn here. I'm gonna settle plus Radical Idea. Or I'm just not. I wonder if I was supposed to Chromium and then just like try and hit like the natural Nexus, just like double tap them or triple tap them with Chromium off like natural Nexuses. It's possible if that's the case. Well, I mean, you don't lose the game, but you can't win the game without an amulet. Don't mind me, just like going through my deck. Let's get rid of those. There is a mono black chromatic lantern deck you can find on my website and my YouTube channel. You click videos and then standard. We played that this week. If you'd like some ideas for that, playing with that card. This does an alt for 2 more turns. It goes to 7, then it goes to 9. No, I'm playing card for card the last list we played. I wonder if they're gonna bin a Midnight Reaper here. It lets them draw 3. Seems good. So we're hoping to find another copy of Amulet so I can go end step, Nexus, untap Amulet, play a bunch of cantrips. Trophy is easily their best card against us. It just like gives them an instant speed way to kill our combo piece. So we've got 8 lands in play here, so I can flash this back plus Nexus till this turn. The chromatic list on my website is a viewer submitted deck list. I think I'm gonna end step Nexus of Fate here. There's 3 Nexus, there's 2 other Nexus in the deck right now, so I board up to a 3rd copy in the matches like this where you really want to see it. Against the aggressive decks, 2 copies is plenty, because, like, by the time you combo, your deck is thin, and the sweepers are more important. So, probably gonna end step Nexus here. As a blue-black Delver player, I enjoy the Pirates deck. Big fan of the discard tempo speed.
Alive.
I have trouble with deciding the right card takes to be threats, counters, and discard. You ever make an article about the deck with sideboarding decisions? I actually have an article up about sideboarding decisions, Duca-Cola. It's not the exact list that's on my site, but it's pretty close. You can find all my articles on Cool Stuff Inc. here. I think it was last month. All right, well, I'm glad I decided Nexus of Fate this turn. Makes that choice easier. Whoom. So we'll get 2 turns in a row here now. Taking Settle makes sense. We have hard card mode and mill them. That's pretty unlikely. Oh, geez. All right. Well, they're going to have that next turn. They took both their sweepers. Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for the 10-month resub. Welcome back. No, I'm playing Pirates at a CGCon. Pirates is my ideal mix of sweet plus competitive. This deck's fun, but it has a lot of hard matchups. Some awkward draws on occasion. If I'm taking 5 days off of work or 4 days off of work to go to a tournament, I want to give myself the best chance to do well there. Alright, there's another Nexus of Fate. Why did my extra turn go away? Shouldn't I have an extra turn in the bank right now? Right? I should have 2 turns up right now. Did it bug again? It bugs sometimes. It doesn't give you 2. I think we got hit by the Nexus bug. I should have another turn after this. So, I wanted to respond to this, but I messed up. So I should have put on full control mode instead of just putting a stop on my upkeep. So I have another turn now. So I draw for the turn. Oh my god, I tapped. Holy crap, that's a mistake. I tapped the Azcanta. Wow, that's a big punt. So I should have had 4 more looks here. All right, we hit. That's good. It's a pretty big mistake. I should have had an extra Azcanta activation here. That could definitely still lose me the game. All right, we're still going somehow. 22 cards left. We have had good rips. The fact that I tapped wrong, we're not getting punished for having tapped wrong. There are also 3 Nexus of Fates in the deck right now, which is helping a little bit. So now I'm at 2 Azcanta activations to take an extra turn. I think I'm actually supposed to take Discovery here at this point, because if I draw another land next turn, I can cast Discovery. So 2 discoveries is more looks than activating Azcanta. That's phenomenal. And these discoveries are taking non-Nexus of Fate cards out of my deck, which is great. So the goal here is to get down to just Nexuses in my deck. Great. So there's only 15 cards in my deck at this point. Yeah, there's only 15 cards. I could theoretically just grab the Ixalan's Binding at some point here too to like get rid of the queen. I mean, we're kind of doing it. At a certain point, we'll have enough land where we can hit Amulet plus Nexus of Fate at the same time. That's a great hit there. And then we can eventually hit enough mana to get 2 Nexuses in a row going, right? Is the goal here. I want to take 2 additional turns at the same time, basically, is what the goal is. So there's 10 cards in my deck, and 3 of them are amulets at this point. Or 3 of them are Nexuses of Fate. Yep. I guess I just cast this to cast it, because I have the mana this turn. They might concede to the Ixalan's Binding taking this, honestly. Because that's like their out is I brick, and then they kill me with the Vraska, right? This deck is so obnoxious. Okay, so now we'll get Amulet going. All right, so there's Nexus of Fate. So now I can put this Amulet into play and still Nexus of Fate, right? Yep. So I could do this. I love your content. Thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So now we're almost locked to get a Nexus of Fate every turn. Almost locked. We could brick off here, I suppose. All right, sweet. And then once we get all the, this was a good last match here. This was just fantastic. So there's only 5 cards in my deck at the moment. And so we can't brick at this point. We are guaranteed to win the game. We are gonna take all of the turn. Our opponent is not getting another turn. There was a point during this sequence where I messed up and we could have bricked off and died, but we are past that point. We're past the point of me being able to brick off and die. So both these amulets flip. So the next Nexus I cast is going to give me a bunch of extra turns. Yeah, there's a Chromium in my discard pile. There's a Chromium in here somewhere. Yeah, there's a Chromium in the discard pile. All right, so this one stacks the extra turns up. This deck's gonna be really good in best of 1. If you're looking for a good best of 1 meme deck, this is the meme for you. So now we Memorial to Folly and pick our win condition back up. And this is why our win condition's a creature, is so you can Memorial to Folly it back into play. And now, like, we have all these extra turns, but like we already have enough extra turns to like already kill them with this. So like our deck is 6 cards and half of them are Nexus of Fate. Yes, you're weak to Settle the Wreckage, but the matches where your opponents have Settle the Wreckage, you have a bunch of counter spells in the sideboard. We also have a second Chromium in the sideboard. So when bad things can happen to your Chromium, you have sideboard plans. Relax, chat. The buy a box promos aren't going to be constructed playable. Nobody's going to play with these cards. This is the first time in this set of matches that we've actually killed somebody. We actually haven't put someone to 0 before. they've actually just all conceded before then. We took a combat step. That's just the worst. That was a really sick sequence. I even mistapped our lands and got one less Azcanta activation at one point than I could have gotten. And we ended up hitting a good sequence and pulling it through. So yeah, if that's your first time, you've seen this deck before, and you're looking for sweet decks to play or watch in standard, or maybe a little bit of both, be sure to check out my website, jeffhoagland.com. This is the exact deck list up there. We've played this deck a number of times before. I don't think I'd change anything. I'm pretty happy with it. If you want to hedge aggro a little bit, you could turn this Chemister's Insight into another Settle. I think that's fine, but I kind of like the Chemister's Insight as a way to generate a little bit more velocity in the mid to late game. All right, that's going to be it for Esper Amulet for today. I'm going to wrap up with a few practice matches of the Blue-Black Pirates deck that I'm playing this weekend at the Invitation.